live.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2, Mostly Lifting Stuff. Garrett Bondi here with Noah Francis.
This is going to be an exciting episode. But this is Episode 2 of this new season, new format. So if you're listening to us right now, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on Spotify. But if you want to watch us, head over to YouTube at Mostly Lifting Stuff. And also hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And give us a follow over there as well.
This will be the last episode. This is with Emily Cronizer, and this will be the last one without video. So after this, the whole thing will be video for all of them. So
yeah,
much easier viewing, I guess.
No, for sure. I've already gotten a lot of comments back from individuals being like, man, I really love that you guys went video. It's been a lot better, like opening up YouTube and not just staring at this picture for an hour while listening to you guys. So I guess us moving around fixes your fancy a little bit, so that's cool.
Yeah, you get to look at us instead, so that's cool.
Yeah, and on today's episode, we're going to have a good time. We talk gym pet peeves that both of us have in the gym. Like, everyone has that guy in the gym. Every gym has them, and we kind of throw him under the bus today. So that's really cool. How to react to them, but also how not to be that guy as well. We also get into nominating our songs of the week, our workout songs of the week. I don't know about you guys, but I'm always looking for new, interesting, good songs to jam out to while I'm lifting to get that extra pump, get that extra couple pounds on that lift.
Yeah.
So
music can definitely change your mood, put you in a different state of mind. So I've been accumulating songs I listen to I work out for like the past 4 years. So you find something you like for a while and you move on to something new. So
yeah, so I think every week we're going to nominate songs, but we're going to need your interaction. So look out, come the tail end of every week on Instagram, we're going to post my nomination of the week, and we're going to post Garrett's nomination, and you guys, the listener, the fan base, the Mostly Lifting Stuff family is going to vote on which one is the song of the week. And later in the season, once we have a lot more songs accumulated, we're going to create a podcast, or a playlist rather, to kind of like accompany our podcast that you guys can go to and listen to during your workouts.
So we're gonna find out really quickly what kind of music you guys like, because we have pretty different styles between the two of us.
Very different styles.
I get in his car, go to the gym the other day, and he's playing some classical music. I'm falling asleep sitting there, even though I just took pre-workout. So
all right,
definitely different styles.
I don't have anything against classical music, but it wasn't classical music. I was listening to ambient music. All right. Got to get in the good vibes, positive attitudes while you're driving. Like, we live in suburban area of Michigan, Metro Detroit, and there's some dickheads out there. So you got to keep the tempers cool, and I do that through listening to peaceful music. So,
see, if you're not gonna listen to peaceful music, that's when you got to have a short drive to the gym. So that's what I rely on for mine.
Yeah. I never do it while I'm on the way to the gym because I'm just trying to get pissed off. So. Yeah. Cut me off. I dare you. Please do it. And then after that, we're followed with our Shoutout Sundays of the week. And following that is our incredible, our fun interview with Emily Cronizer, where we get into a special segment this week with her and talk about how to get that booty. And that segment is called For the Girls. So look out for that in our interview coming up. And with that, this episode number 2, is underway. So here we go. Pet peeves.
Pet peeves. So I guess for me, my pet peeve is like the unasked for advice guy. Mine, the guy that there's always a guy, at a lot of gyms that'll come up to people, and whether you're looking for advice or not, he's always got something to say. Always got the, hey, you should be doing this instead. Oh, squats are bad for your knees. There's that guy at a lot of gyms, and
I'm pretty sure every gym, yeah.
I mean, everybody's ran into this guy at some point or another in their life. If you've been at the gym for at least a year or so. So
I'm seeing countless faces pop up in my head right now of who this could be, who you're thinking. I'm actually curious, in my head. We're not actually gonna throw anybody on the bus by name, but I'm kind of thinking, who is he thinking about right now? Because we go to the same gym, so
yeah. Honestly, haven't had too bad of an experience with that in my time at Oakland, but I mean, you see countless videos and stuff like that, people posting up stuff of people coming and bothering them. So
yeah,
it's definitely something that will rub you the wrong way, and
yeah, they're out there.
And I mean, sure. You're even less likely to listen to someone if you don't ask for advice. So.
Oh yeah. And you hardly ever do that anyway. So.
Hey, I ask for advice all the time. So
what would you call this guy? What is, if you had to give this pet peeve a name? What's the name of this pet peeve?
He's probably the I used to squat 500 in high school, but I got bad knees now guy.
I love it. So. That's incredible. So now I know that you're not talking about me because I've never squatted 500. Not today, not before, and probably not ever. So
wow, positivity.
You know, realistic thinking. You know, set our goal, make sure our goals are accessible and realistic. My first pet peeve has got to be Thumbs McGee. All right. So this is the guy in the gym that is on the machine you need, that is just sitting there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, hasn't even done a set, and is just sitting there on Instagram, texting away, whatever you're doing, you're on your phone, and you're not doing your lifts. And I'm just like, kind of losing my pump, kind of losing my, like, I'm getting, like, tight, but, like, there's been time and time again where I'll run into this guy at OU's gym, and it's on, like, the leg press. They have one leg press, and if I'm doing leg press, it means I need to do leg press. There's not really an alternative for that. That is already the alternative. Yeah. and there's just a couple weeks ago where this guy was just sitting on the leg press machine. I didn't even see him do one set within a 10-minute span, and I'm just look over, and he's on Instagram, and he's zooming in on bikini pictures of girls. I'm just like, 1, please do your lift. 2, please stop stalking people in public places. Like, I wasn't even sure what to do in the moment. I was like, do I go up? Because I would just be like, hey man, how many sets do you got? But I felt like I was interrupting something. So like, I kind of like sat back on that one.
I mean, you could have been. But maybe he was just trying to get motivation to build the legs and the glutes, you know?
I guess, but
that's
like,
all I can think of.
I just thought he was a perv, to be honest with you. Like,
it's a good chance.
Those are also out there.
Yeah, I like giving, no one knows this, and like, you know, buddies I lift with, I'll always give them a hard time. If I'm waiting on them to do a set because they're on their phone, I always just ask them, you know, are you doing a thumb workout or are you doing chest? Or, you know, same thing with talking. I always like asking people if they're doing jaw workouts.
Working that jaw.
You got to exercise a little bit, I guess, but.
No, yeah. So, like, for listeners out there, if you come across Thumbs McGee in your gym, don't be afraid to go up to this Thumbs McGee and just simply ask, how many sets you got? Because usually that, like, gets them going in their head, like, oh, someone's waiting on me. I should put this down, do the set. And usually when you ask, they don't even have a rep scheme or a set scheme, and they just do one more and pretend like that was their last set, and they move on. And you're like, cool.
Yeah. See, like, that goes two ways, though, because you'll have people that'll ask how many sets you have left, and it's like the guy that just, like some people are kind of just like a bull with that. They'll walk into the gym, they'll see somebody on something they want, and they'll just go like right up to him and be like, how many sets you got left? Like, I'm like one of those people, I kind of like to feel it out a little bit.
Yeah, you got to gauge it.
Right, because I've had people come up to me, and I'll be like, I'll still have like 135 on the bar deadlifting, and they'll be like, how many sets you have left? And I'll tell them, like,
17?
Yeah, like, I have like 7 sets left, and they look at me like they're pissed off, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but...
Yeah, I'm warming up currently. I'm not even close to my working set, so
yeah.
Skedaddle.
And I mean, I guess going to a powerlifting gym, a lot of people are taking extended rest, but I mean, you're also spotting for other people. Like, yeah. There's other stuff going on. I mean, people aren't just sitting there looking at their phones. Yeah. Like,
there's a lot of variables that go into it, right? Because you're at a big powerlifting gym, like you're not really going to find Thumbs McGee there. I'm talking more like, if you go to an LA or a Lifetime or an OU or a Planet, like more of these mass scale gyms where have a little bit of everything there, you're going to run into these people, and that's where the gauging comes in. There's a lot of variables that go into it. If I see this guy that I know that you look at him, you're like, I know that you know what you're doing, essentially. Like, you're obviously not just like bullshitting, like you're putting in work, this is your rest period right now. Or if it's like, this is actually how I met Kirsty. Like, she was on the lat pull down, I needed the lat pull down. And I was like, she knows what she's doing. I'm not going to ask her how many sets she has. I'm going to be like, hey, mind if I work in? Because I don't care if people work in with me, but also like...
Right. And I mean, by doing that, you can learn from people too. Like, if they cue things differently. I mean, a lat pull down is a simple movement, like Noah's talking about, but there are multiple ways that you can start the movement and, you know, how you can align yourself. So you can always learn from people that way too, if it's not just someone sitting there texting. So
yeah. So gauge the crowd, feel it out. But if it's a perv, go ahead and make fun of them behind their back. Tell everybody that they're looking at pictures of girls in bikinis, because that's exactly what I did. And so hopefully he would stop doing that. But, you know,
yeah,
you live and you learn, I guess.
Live and learn.
On about you, I have one more pet peeve. I was only going to do that one introduction of a pet peeve, but honestly, like this one reminded. I remember this one last minute because I got so pissed off this week in the gym, and I'm going to call this pet peeve fangirls. Not because people are fangirling, but because grown men are being girls because they can't work out with a fan on next to them in the gym. And I'm like, hey, listen, I'm trying to get a pump. Like, I do not need my muscles to be cooled down in between sets. Because this fan is like, at OU's gym, it's really, like, it goes hard. And it goes right in your face, like on the lat pull down or near the cables. And this one guy, I turned it off. This one guy came up to me and was like, did you turn the fan off? And I was like, yeah, I turned the fan off. I'm trying to work out here. He's like, I get really uncomfortable when I don't work out next to a fan. I'm like, you're in a gym. Why are you in a gym if you're not trying to sweat? Like,
see, I thought you were going somewhere totally different with this.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that makes sense.
I haven't been upset in the gym this much in a very long time. But this guy actually like got under my skin because now I'm having to divert my workout because now I'm getting all cooled down and stuff in between sets, and this guy's just like essentially putting his face in the fan and making noises.
Maybe if you're wearing more clothes, you'd probably not be as cold.
Yeah. I actually started wearing hoodies in 90-degree weather to the gym just in case Fangirl McGee is out there as well.
Always got to be on the lookout.
Yeah. I think I'm going to change up my whole lifting schedule because I simply just don't want to be around this guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Life-altering fan experience.
Yeah.
That's tough.
I never thought the fan would be like the destruction of my own demise in the gym, to be honest with you.
I mean, I don't know, man. It probably shouldn't affect you that much.
It really shouldn't. I should really have better coping skills, especially for what I'm going into in my career. But, you know.
I mean, you're in the same boat as that guy. If the fan being on or off is going to dictate your workout.
Yeah, except... All right. If you're in the gym and you're trying to get a pump, the only way to do that is to keep your muscles activated and stay warm. So if you're getting cooled down after every one, you're never going to get to that level. But also your muscles, like, if they get cooled down, they're going to get tight, and that's not safe. Like, you have a greater chance of getting hurt at that point.
Fans don't actually cool you down, though.
Hey, this fan does.
No,
This is a cold fan.
They just help evaporate the water on your skin so you feel cool. They don't actually cool your temperature down.
I would like to see a research article on that.
Okay.
So all you listeners out there,
science.
Yeah.
So.
Send us your thoughts. Do fans cool you down or not?
Well, they make you feel cool, but they don't change the temperature.
I feel like they change the temperature for sure.
No.
I mean, if you're sweating less, they're taking your body temperature down, so your body's not sweating. The reason why your body's sweating is because your body temperature is so high, so your body creates moisture to cool it down.
Well, yeah. So your fan is helping your body do what it's trying to do.
Yeah, cool it down. So it changes the temperature of the body.
I'm just saying, it doesn't change your temperature.
We're going to have to test this out. All right.
See, soft science guy, real science guy, so.
All right, Bubba, whatever you say.
Call out Sunday.
Yeah. Newest pet peeve, someone who doesn't actually take science to be real.
Yeah.
And that's Garrett. So, moving on.
I'm going with the science here, man.
We're going to segment 2 of this week. And that segment is Song of the Week nominations. Garrett, who do you have to pump up our great listening base this week?
All right, so old song, great song. Watched Zombieland a couple weeks ago. Awesome movie.
Good movie.
And it has the most amazing beginning of the movie with For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. Got the bells going. Great gym song. You get that playing, you get the bells going right before your set, and then the song picks up, and you're ready to lift some heavy stuff. So.
Yeah.
that's my nomination.
Part of the song nomination of the week, the person who nominates the song has to sing part of it for us live. Isn't that correct? Is that what you decided on?
No, that's not correct. He's just saying that because I went first.
Yeah, that's actually why I made him go first, because I was hoping he would actually fall for that and sing for you guys, which I wouldn't be mad at. That'd be great.
Not much of a singer, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you don't look like a singer.
I got other talents.
You don't look like the front stage talent. You're kind of like, I'll engineer how the light production works in the background, but like,
sure,
don't put me front and center. I'm not trying to scare everybody.
Yeah, ugly. So that's what happens.
All right, my song of the week is also kind of old school. As this past week was leading up to the taping of this episode, I was really thinking hard. I can't let the listener base down. And then this song randomly came on while I was working out yesterday. I was like, this is it. I haven't heard this song in probably 3 years. And I was just vibing to it. I put it on repeat, listened to it probably 4 times in a row. I just got like, just in the zone with it. So this song for me is Let's Go by Trick Daddy featuring Big D and Twista.
You'd probably recognize it if you heard it, not by who is the one.
Yeah. Honestly, like I had no. That's why if you're watching this, you literally had to watch me read the artist and who it was featured by, just to give proper reference, do the right citation. But I had no clue who sang it. I just know the song, and it's a great song, and it will get you going for whatever lift you got, whether it's a heavy lift, whether it's a high rep lift, or if you're just doing cardio. Hell, put it in your yoga session. See what happens.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious. That would be actually a badass yoga session right there.
I feel like you're not supposed to like go real hard into a stretch though. I feel like that could be dangerous. Like if you hype yourself up and then you go do that lunge and you just lunge, you know, way too hard.
No, I get that. Definitely. I'm a big dancer, so I've ripped a couple pants in my days while dancing. But I always stretch beforehand because if you go too hard into it, like, it's just not good for your body.
Noah Francis, a dancer. Didn't know that, so.
You learn something new every day. That's really the only reason why I work out, is to really get that good like booty dance going, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why he does hypertrophy training.
Yep. I do it for the dance floor. And not even a joke, I was out with Evan last night and did a little bit of dancing and definitely ripped my shorts.
Wow.
Yeah, right in the crotch. Number 2 of the summer.
Definitely needs to just buy bigger pants. That's the solution.
You're probably right on that base as well.
Probably.
In our last segment, before we get into the interview with Emily today, is going to be our weekly Shoutout Sunday. This week, I'm going to go a little bit more, fitnessy than we did last week. I'm actually going to shout out a really big influence in my progression as not just a lifter, but within nutrition, and also really great just content on YouTube and on Instagram. And I ended up doing his program for 16 weeks earlier in the year. I'm going with Jeff Nippard. Jeff Nippard is a Canadian-born bodybuilder, but he's really well known around the fitness industry and fitness community as being a very research-based advocate. So if you check out his YouTube, I suggest you do. He has some great videos that have, he honestly brings humor, brings good edits, but also brings research behind lifts and programs, why you're matching up different lifts with other lifts, and really getting the best bang for your buck, not just working harder, but working smarter as well. So you're kind of getting the best overall, in my opinion, best programming out there. He has several different hypertrophy things. He has strength training based programs. They're all relatively cheap, but his leg push pull 6-day split hypertrophy strength training program is what I did for 16 weeks earlier in the year, and I just saw incredible results from it. So my shout out Sunday, Jeff Nippard. Follow him on YouTube, follow him on Instagram, and quite honestly, you won't be sorry.
I probably should follow him too. Currently do not. So
wow, I'm actually shocked by that. How dare you? Who's your shout out Sunday of the week?
Oh man, well, I mean, I guess if you're talking science-based training, I would say Jeff Cavalier.
Okay.
Jeff Nippard's kind of like a poor man's Jeff Cavalier. You know, he's like a
shot inspired.
Yeah, maybe like a slightly less cool.
Are you saying that because he's Canadian and he's 5'6"? Is that why? Are you making fun of not only Canadians but short people?
Well, obviously I didn't know he was short because I don't even know who this guy is really. But Jeff Cavalier is honestly probably the best YouTuber you could go to for fitness-related content.
And that's objective.
That's my opinion, but also probably the opinion of many people that look to YouTube for stuff like that.
No, Jeff Cavalier is a good find.
Yeah, he's probably as shredded as you could be naturally, and he only does exercises for specific reasons, so which is why we should do exercises. So
he does, in my opinion, like Jeff Nippard will release a video, and much like you, Jeff Cavalier copies what Jeff does and kind of goes along the same basis, and then releases a video afterward and tries to take all the credit. Kind of like you with science research based, like Shoutout Sunday. So
okay,
you know,
I mean, you put me on the spot, so that's what I was thinking of.
I warned you about this. We do this every week.
I thought we were doing one, so I thought you had it under control.
All right, let it be known to the podcast listening base that Garrett does not take his job seriously, and he doesn't prepare for you guys. How do you feel about that? I spend hours just thinking about this stuff and just trying to give the best show, the best presentation to our fan base, and you just walk in here and just don't even know or
ready to go. I had prepared. Jeff Cavalier just like that. It's
ironic one that he has the exact same first name as my shout out. So
yeah, I mean, I would feel like if he was like less of a YouTuber, I would feel bad, but since he's like better, then I don't really feel that bad about using the same name.
Not sure what the YouTube subscriptions are at, but go ahead and go find their YouTubes and hit subscribe for both Jeff Nippard and Jeff Cavalier. They are honestly like both incredible YouTubers, incredible influencers, even though we have belittled and bashed the word influencer on this podcast several times. These guys are the real deal. They give you the full show, the full rundown, and they give great content, informational content, but content that really anybody can take in, absorb, and kind of get better in the gym and in life through what they're giving out.
Yeah, and you can count on it being science-based. You can count on it being not like it's not going to be a cookie cutter. Everybody's obviously different, and these guys understand that when they explain things, and they're going to give you the truth too. There's no shortcut to anything fitness related. You're going to have to do things correctly, and the more things you start doing right, that's when things start going your way. So these guys kind of put that into perspective for you. Yeah,
there it is. Those are our Shoutout Sundays. Go ahead and follow them again on any social media platform, and let them know the guys at Mostly Lifting Stuff sent you their way. And so leave a comment on one of their posts, and hopefully that way we grow our listener base. With that, growing our listener base is huge and really important to us, so go ahead and hit that like button right now. Whatever you're doing, stop it. Close out that video real quick and hit that like button, and then re-expand it all the way full screen because you want us to be as big as we actually are in real life. Swole as all get out.
But what if they already had our video open, they just closed it?
No. Told them. Closing the full screen. So now it's minimized, so you can hit the like button, then re-expand it, so now it's maximum swollenness on their screen. And that concludes our segment portion for today. Next week, be on the lookout. We have a great episode coming your way with Zach Edmonds. Zach Edmonds is an electrical engineer major at Oakland University. He has that in common with Garrett. And probably none of you, because nerds. Am I right? But Zach also served in the U.S. Marine Corps, and Zach and I were able to sit down with Garrett and really talk about training before the military, in the military, and after the military, and specifically how training and fitness and nutrition have really been integral parts of both Zach and my own lives in our transition out of the military. It's a really good episode, really good interview. We were able to sit down with him, and we're excited to share it with you next week. But first, the time has come. We finally get to release the great interview, the great sit down with Emily Cronizer. We had a great time on this podcast, on this episode, and this sit down with her, and we're excited to release it to you guys. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. Here it is, our interview with Emily. Enjoy. I am so excited to introduce to you guys to not just one of my good friends, but actually the most fitnessy person I know in my life. And her name's Emily Cronizer, and she's a badass. She is ripped. If you follow me on social media, she is all of my posts. She's the only reason why I get DMs, because everyone DMs me asking, how do I get that booty? How do I get that shredded six-pack every single week? So Garrett and I thought it'd be great to introduce her to you guys. So I'm gonna hand it over to Emily, and she's gonna introduce herself real quick.
Okay. Hi, I'm Emily. Nice to be on the show. Thank you, Noah, for the really nice introduction. I'm not the most shreddy, but yeah, definitely try to be. I actually was a neuroscience major when I initially started college, and then when I graduated my bachelor's in science, I was fully intent on being a physician's assistant. So I came back to Michigan and I started working at Beaumont, and I was actually a nursing aide, and then I was a hemodynamic tech at the hospital for 2 years. And I really liked working in healthcare, but I didn't feel like I was making a huge difference in the lives of my patients, especially working in the cath lab. A lot of my patients are coming back for repeat procedures because their lifestyle was bringing them into the hospital. And I knew that I could fix their lifestyle through diet changes, through changes in their activity levels. And I was always interested in health and fitness. It was always something that I did on the side, always something I was passionate about. So I ended up getting my NASM certification. I quit the hospital and I started full-time personal training over at Equinox of Bloomfield Hills, and I love it. I feel like I'm making a better difference. It's more proactive care as opposed to the reactive care that I was doing in the hospital.
So how's Equinox? I've seen like pictures and stuff, and it's like there's like Lifetime, which is like used to be like the gold standard around here, but I feel like Equinox is like
that's the diamond standard. Yeah. That's next level.
Well, there's Diamond, Lifetime, actually. And I did work at Lifetime. I worked at Lifetime Bloomfield back when it first opened. I was in the Kids Academy. But no, Equinox is bougie as fuck, man.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Fuck big shit. Like,
okay, good. I didn't get started. But yeah, it's bougie as fuck. We got marble everywhere, and it's basically the highest standard you can go in any kind of gym. And actually, the reason why I love it so much is because of the emphasis that we place on the scientific reasoning behind all the programming that we do. So when you see like a lot of personal trainers, mostly it's like stuff they're coming up like on the spot, like how is this fun for my client, how is this going to keep them entertained, and while all of that is important, the things that we do at Equinox is why are we doing this exercise for that person, how does it relate to their goals, everything relates to their why, which is why I love Equinox so much.
Yeah.
Plus their equipment is badass.
I was gonna say that's why I love knowing you, because I kind of definitely like mooch off of Emily every week and try and get at least one workout in with her.
One free pass a week.
Yeah, I take that every week. Like she gets one guest, and that's me
guest
every week, because it's honestly like the coolest gym I've ever been into. And I've been to a lot of gyms. Like I'm kind of used to like the grunt like lifestyle, like military gyms, stuff like that, or like Royal Oak or Rochester gym. But this honestly, like you can be a lifter and have a lifting atmosphere, but also have like
we have the
incredible equipment.
We have the functional fitness floor, which is like the huge difference. So we have like we have machines, but we also have a giant space in the middle where we work with like the TRXs. We have the kettlebells. We place a huge emphasis on our Vipers, which are like these giant tubular things, and they have handles, and you use them for a bunch of different full body exercises. So we place more emphasis on exercises that relate to your lifestyle as opposed to isolation movements. So like bodybuilders can obviously get a great exercise in, great workout. We have tons of the cardio machines, but we also have a lot of like older people, regeneration, trying to work on like that like full lifestyle kind of workout.
I will say to the listeners, she did point at me when she said bodybuilder, so yeah. I appreciate you.
All isolation exercises over here. He stays to one, like the dumbbells, and then like the strict isolation workout machines.
Yeah, and as far away from the cardio machines as possible.
I have to force him to do cardio with me.
Yeah, it sucks.
So what kind of like what's like a typical client for you? Do you have like a type of client you usually have, or just kind of
everywhere? Yeah, as I'm like kind of ramping up, so I'm like very, very close to full time now, which is great. And I have a whole bunch of different kinds of clients. I just picked up one today who lifts like 6 days a week, has been doing isolation movements, very bodybuilder style, kind of prepping for a show kind of thing. And then I have a lot of older clients, and when I say older, I mean like 50s, like 55, middle age.
So Evan's age.
So that sounds terrible saying older, but older to me. Who are working on making this a lifestyle. So they're not looking to like lift heavy. They're looking to, the words I hear most often, I want to lose weight, I want to tone up, and I want like a flat stomach. That's what I hear like 90% of the time.
Yeah. So kind of what I hear is you get a broad range of experience within the gym of clients. So like I feel like a lot of people who look at personal trainers and people that get personal trainers are like, oh, that's like a novice lifter. That's someone who doesn't really know what they're doing. Me as an intermediate lifter who's been doing it for a couple of years, I don't need a personal trainer. Like, what would you say to those people?
Well, yeah, and that's exactly what I had today. Is someone that's actually kind of my favorite client to train is someone who comes in and thinks that they know everything, kind of like you, and. Sorry.
Yo! Shots fired.
But it's different having that different perspective. Someone who can like take a 360 view of what you're doing, correct your form. Form is everything. Prevents injury, makes sure you're working the muscles correctly, and then also pushes you past that point. Because as much as you think you're pushing yourself to that point, that like breaking point, you're not. Having someone saying, hey, do one more rep. You have this many more to do. You have no choice but to do them. So have, like my client today, you know, she had never hip thrusted that much weight. And I said, no, we're doing it. And she's like, great, okay, I guess we're doing it. And hit some PRs. So, yeah. I mean, I train with personal trainers. We all train each other. So I don't know everything. I'm getting a different perspective from another trainer. Super helpful.
Yeah. That's kind of something that we talked about before, even on the episodes I've been on as a guest before, of everyone in the room can learn from somebody. So if you look at the biggest bodybuilders or the best powerlifters, what do they all have in common? They all have a coach. Yeah. Right? So that's something that I think, like, that's one reason why I love working out with you every week is, one, I don't have to pay you, but that sucks. I wish I could.
Maybe you should start doing that.
But I get a personal trainer kind of thing to, like, kick my ass and give me new experiences and actually, like, be like, hey, you're going to fucking hurt yourself doing it that way. How about you try this?
Yeah. Right. And it's funny, like, what you were saying about him, like, not wanting to listen, because my fiance is a personal trainer, and she'll, like, tell me to do stuff, and I'm always like, yeah, okay, like, I'm like, I won't admit it, but I'll usually try, like, what she says.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny, it's almost like she's paid to do that, like, to know what she's talking about. Yeah, I mean, having a different perspective is everything. Like, I still learn from Noah, even, like, him coming in and lifting with me. He gives me, like, different exercises and different workouts to do.
Really? You learn?
Ever so slightly. Ever so slightly, yeah.
But so since we're talking about Equinox and we're talking about personal trainers, just real quickly for the listeners, say they want to get into personal training, or say they want a personal trainer, like, and they want to try out Equinox, how do they do that?
So basically you just have to come in and talk to one of our membership advisors, and they'll take you around the club, kind of show you everything. Then you can get a free guided workout with one of us.
Ooh, free.
Free. That's
I like
the key
that
word.
name.
Free guided workout. So before you even join the club, you kind of get a sense of, like, am I going to like this? Am I going to want to sign up for personal training? And then once you sign up with the club, then you get your free EquiFit assessment, which is another great thing that I love about Equinox. Our EquiFit assessment is an hour-long assessment that every single member gets. We talk about the goals you want to achieve in the gym. You get to know your trainer super well. We talk about your history with fitness experience, and then we put you on our InBody, which is it measures, like, your skeletal muscle mass, your body fat percentage, basal metabolic rate, total body water, and then we measure that every single time you do the InBody. So for me, that's every, like, 4 to 6 weeks with my clients. And then we do what's called our functional movement screen. We take you out onto the floor, and we do a couple exercises that allow me to see any imbalances in your body. So there's no right or wrong answers, just kind of see what areas can we correct. And then you also get a complimentary personal training session. This is so 3 free things that you get before you even sign up for personal training. And then once you feel like you've, like, met a trainer that matches well with you and their style works well with you, then you can sign up to change your life.
Change your life. I love that. What a sell. So, like, if someone is listening to this and they're really wanting to do it, just honestly go to our Instagram page, find the tag that we have for Emily at Emily Cronizer on Instagram, and just DM her. Like, she was more than willing to answer your questions, but also, like, get you set up.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm there most hours of the day.
Yeah,
so
she just got off a 14-hour shift.
Yeah,
so
5 a.m. to, like, whenever my clients want to leave. So, yeah.
So absolutely. how do you so you said you have a 14-hour shift, and I have seen you at OU before, and I get there, I do my whole workout, and I leave, and you're there, like, the entire time, like literally, like, looking like there's no end in sight. So how do you balance working like that much with getting your own workouts in?
Well, my workouts have changed since I stopped working out at OU. And it also helps that I work at a gym, so there's no commute there. So we have what are called like blackout hours for the trainers. So there's hours we can work out at the gym and hours we can't. And normally we'll kind of like our hours that we can work out are like the middle of the day. And most clients are not coming in between like 11 and 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So actually that's when most of the trainers train. Like I would say 90% of us are on that floor during the time. And we kind of just fit in like an hour and then we get on with our day. So yeah, my training style has changed quite a bit from like more of a bodybuilder style training to more like functional based training.
Let's talk about like where it started. Like how long you've been lifting. What was that like bodybuilding focused workouts look like, and now that it's transitioned, what do they look like today?
We're starting from the very beginning. I wasn't always bodybuilder because I was a figure skater growing up. So I'd always had a trainer, always had a coach like telling me what to do.
Yeah. Did you break her kneecap with a metal bat or anything like that?
Not my coach, but yeah, the other competitors.
The other girls?
For sure.
Right, sick.
Yeah, I want to win. No, it wasn't. I actually was not that into it, to be totally honest. I was not competitive at all back in the day. So I ended up quitting figure skating when I went to college. I went to school in Pennsylvania, so I moved away. Literally didn't even know like where the gym was my freshman year. And then I came home after my first year of college, and my mom was like, "So freshman 15's real, huh?" And I was like, "Oh my god, no!"
Ouch.
It was I mean,
thanks, Mom.
That comment kind of changed my whole life, so it was good. But in the moment, I didn't know what to do, so I did the only thing a college girl knew how to do, which was just run and eat a bunch of salad, because I just thought, I'm going to lose weight, so that's how you do it. I didn't even understand the concept of calories back then. So I was miserable, and I was running a ton, and I was upset about it, and I was losing weight, but I was just like tiny, and ended up, that was the summer that I got the job at Lifetime, back when it first opened, and I took my first alpha class, which was a mix between like functional training and like CrossFit kind of, and I just absolutely fell in love with it. It was like the first time I touched a weight, like heavy weight, and it was the first time I had someone like really push me in the gym. And like the harder it got, the more I like laughed and smiled, and I just loved the competitive aspect of it. So I got really into weightlifting. I ended up starting like the bodybuilding thing just off girls I saw on Instagram. So again, like the typical girl thing, like I just looked up girls, like the booty workout they were doing, and I was copying those, and I was overtraining like crazy. So I did that for like a full year, and like seeing okay results, but not like as much as I wanted to because of the overtraining.
What is overtraining look like for you?
Overtraining for me was training like 3 times a day. I was training in the
6,
morning.
7 days a week?
Yeah, I was training in the morning, I was training on my lunch break, and I was training after work. And it was stupid. Like, I was so tired. It was so dumb. Yeah, I wasn't eating enough. It was very, very bad. So then I kind of decreased my sessions. Ended up 2016, I did like a heavy like bulk period, I guess you'd call it. Like, not for a show or anything. I just like really, really liked lifting. Gained a good amount of size, good amount of muscle. I squatted 225 for the first time, and then immediately when I hit that goal, I was like, cool, I'm done with heavy lifting. That was it. And then got more into functional style training, and now that's pretty much all I do. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's stupid. Overtraining is stupid. Now that's something that I'm really, really careful about, especially working at Equinox. Like, regeneration is a huge part of my training. So because I have such a competitive nature, I have to, in my program, put, like, this is a rest day. This is the regeneration I'm going to do on this day. Because implementing that rest period for me is critical if I want to keep performing at this high level for a long period of time.
So regeneration, like for the listeners and low-key for myself.
Yeah.
What is that? It's not just, like, I'm not working out today.
No.
What else does it look like?
It's foam rolling, it's stretching, it's doing the ice plunge that we have at Equinox, fancy. Yeah, it's like taking those ice baths. It's, allowing your body to recover, especially if you're lifting weights. Your muscle growth happens during that muscle recovery time. So taking like those rest days and allowing your muscles to stretch and breathe is going to be super important.
Now, I think a lot of people get hung up in like overtraining. But I think some people think they're overtraining, but they're really just not eating enough, not sleeping enough, not rehabbing enough.
Yeah.
So, like, where do you think that line is where you actually are going from just not eating and sleeping enough to actually overtraining? Like, where do you think that exists?
Yeah, so that's kind of hard, but yeah, overtraining for me is like when you like hit a plateau in your training, so you're not making any progress, and I saw that absolutely. It was like I just wasn't making any progress. I was doing the same thing over and over, and my body was just tired. And your body has cues. So when you wake up and you're like, you feel exhausted, like you feel like you need a rest day, it's not like laziness. Like you can tell the difference between like, oh, I just don't want to do it, and oh my gosh, like my body needs the rest. So that's when I would say you're overtraining. Is when you're waking up day after day after day and you're just exhausted. Like you're still going to the gym, but you're just not getting the most out of your workouts. Yeah. You just feel too tired.
Garrett, with your new like powerlifting schedule and training, you're only training 3-4 days a week, right?
Yeah, I train pretty much 4 days a week, like pretty much year round.
If you train more than that, like with this cycle you're doing, not cycle because you're not
on a cycle,
but like the programming cycle that you're on right now, like do you feel like you'd be overtraining at that point over 4 days, or do you have to be working out 6 days, 7 days a week to be hitting that threshold of overtraining?
Honestly, because of my schedule right now, so I'm working like a 40-hour week, you know, I have other things going on. Like if I could sleep 10-12 hours a night and literally eat all day when I'm not lifting, then I could probably train 5 or 6 days. I think no problem, because I think I'd be rested enough and recovered enough. But because of how my schedule is, that's where like the balance comes in. It's like, okay, for what I'm able to do to support this, I can do 4 days.
Right. So you're talking about like access and accessibility and a realistic approach to like your training, but also like balancing life.
Right.
And to the listener, like that's actually what I find most fascinating about my friendship with Emily is like she's introduced a lot of like macro tips and stuff like that that have completely changed my life, especially during cutting, but also maintaining and things like that. But honestly, it's been about more so for me over the last like year or so, finding that balance between not just fitting my life to fit like my fitness schedule, but allowing like my fitness schedule to fit inside my life, like to eat things that I want to eat. Like Emily's a big donut girl, and I love her for that. But also like not being scared to like enjoy life at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's the thing I'm most proud of. If I've taught you anything, it's definitely that, because I think that's like, it's so easy to get caught up in that like bodybuilder lifestyle of I need to be perfect all the time, and then once you like start seeing changes, you think like the second you derail from the program you're on, you think you're gonna lose everything. And I mean honestly, from everyone that I've talked to, we all kind of get stuck in that mindset of like I have to be perfect all the time, and that is just not sustainable. Like you can try and do it for as long as possible, but like how good is your life going to be when you're like bringing Tupperware to like social events, and like you feel like I was definitely there. I felt like I couldn't go to things because I was scared about the food that was going to be there, and I didn't want to be that weird person. I was like, I can't eat it. So I mean, absolutely try and be like as healthy as possible, but you don't want to lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
You still have a life outside of the gym. The gym is like, if you think about how many hours you spend in the gym, say you spend like 1 hour a day and you're there 6. Okay, so you spend a ridiculous amount of time. Say average person is spending an hour a day, and you go 5-6 days a week. That's 6 hours of your whole week. Like you have a whole life outside of the gym. You're there for that life, not just the gym.
Yeah, I mean, what fun is being in shape and being, you know, athletic or strong or whatever you're training for, if you don't have any time to like enjoy life and walk around and be.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times when you look at like Instagram influencers and YouTubers and stuff like that, that's something that's lost. It's something I really appreciate about Emily's Instagram. Again, go follow Emily at Emily Cronizer on Instagram. Shameless plug, I don't care. Like she posts, like she has awesome content. She has videos of her workouts. Like you can tell that she's a professional fitnesser. But at the same time, like she'll also like post a picture last week of her like eating this huge ice cream cone from Dairy Queen or something like that.
I ate sushi right before that too. So.
See, like enjoy life, right? Like she is you're a great model, I think, for a lot of people that like fitness isn't just about being like a stoic, not enjoying life, not be able to have all this stuff that a lot of times, like if you look at the Instagram models or Instagram influencers, like it's kind of a facade that they're showing to you.
Yeah.
Right. You see them working out like almost every day, but then I mean, if they're literally just like a lot of them don't have regular jobs, so that's their whole life.
And if all of us had all the time in the world, of course we'd be like if I had time to prep all of my meals, I'd be very close to that. But we all have stuff going on. We have jobs.
And that's what fills in our life, too. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Because, like, when Garrett was saying, like, oh, if he had 10 hours to sleep a night and, like, didn't work a 40-hour shift or 40 hours a week, I was like, oh, shoot, that's my life. That's why I'm in the gym 6 days a week. And it's accessible for me. Like, I'm not overtraining, but also, like...
So I would almost question that. So I actually am curious. So what is your, like, you're there 4 days a week. What is your program right now?
So right now I'm on like an off-season program. I actually just started this week. I competed 2 weeks ago for the first time. But so now it's like 2 heavy lifts, whether it's like the first day was like squat and like low incline bench press, and then a couple accessory movements. So it's not like the volume isn't crazy, but it's a lot more than I was training before.
Yeah.
I usually program like fairly conservatively. I'm more on the. I'd rather have slow gains and not get hurt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm
Do
at.
no harm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's first rule.
So, and then, 4 days a week, usually like workout like Monday, Tuesday, take Wednesday off, like Thursday, Friday, or it kind of fits to my schedule. But I still am getting 3 full days a week where I'm not at the gym.
I would almost like say that that's a perfect amount. Like you say, like, oh, if I had more time, I would train more. I would almost say, like, with very heavy lifts, training 4 days a week with 3 days off is actually perfect. That's a good amount of regeneration.
Yeah.
So
I'm not doing a powerlifting program right now. Mine's much more hypertrophy focused.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. It's been a little weird. I was like talking to Garrett about this earlier today, but like I used to go in the gym with Garrett and I'd like try and do heavy. Every time I squat, it'd be really heavy squat.
Yeah.
And then over about 10 months to a year in, like my knee was just so fucked up at that point. So I've taken the last 3 months off of like heavy lifting, and so I've been sticking with like really high reps, like 5x20s at like 185, and like it sucks. I want to throw up, but I've actually seen like so much more progress within like the development of my quads. That is what I'm focusing on through that, but also it's been more sustainable where I feel better and feel more like alive outside of my workouts because I still am working out 6 days a week.
And I think when you're going like heavy, like you were before, like what I usually do, I'm not going to say it's more form dependent, but I think, you need to be putting yourself in the perfect position for those reps.
Right.
So if you're not, or if you have like an imbalance, or say on your squats your knee's coming out over your toes like 3 inches or something, like
something
might not be something that you notice doing lighter weight. But once you start getting heavier, stress and strain, takes its toll.
Yeah.
So definitely I take videos of almost every one of my compound lifts.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like...
It's not something to be ashamed about either. So many people look at that guy in the gym like, oh my God, they're taking videos or they're taking a picture. Yeah, they're trying to work on themselves. Like, get lost, you nerd. Like, get out of here. Like, leave us alone.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Like, obviously, that's what I do. Like, I'm looking at that person from an outside advantage and saying, like, hey, you're not hinging your hips enough on that deadlift. Yeah. Like, you're going to hurt your back. So that's what you're doing. You're saying, like, am I doing this correctly?
Yeah. And that's something that she's introduced for us working out together is because if you go back and listen to my first episode that I was a guest on for the podcast, like, we talked about my journey with fitness, but also, like, a big part of that was, like, literally breaking my back in the military. And, like, the 4 years it's been from, like, literally going from the first 5 months of being like restricted to my bed to then like relearning how to walk to then eventually later on getting in the gym. I got to this point with Emily where I was like, maybe the solely powerlifting route, like isn't the best thing or the smartest thing for me. But it took an objective outside stance to like kind of slap me in the face with that.
Yeah. Not that anything should ever limit you, but don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, but what's the smarter way to go about it, essentially?
Smarter way, like don't powerlift, like.
Right, for me,
don't powerlift,
individually, it was like maybe not put up the 300s to 400s like squats like twice a week kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
in the end, it just comes down to like being smart. So like with someone who like blew out their shoulder, I'm not about to go do like a really really heavy like chest press or anything.
Right.
Like, we're not doing bench. So even though a lot of guys come in there with like a really big ego, like toning it down and using lighter weights and like feeling that lactic acid build up, like they still feel like they're getting a good workout. We're still making progress, and actually it helps them in the long run because like toning down that ego is only good,
Yeah.
The interesting concept that I've kind of like applied to my training and like how I approach it is a term. I think Jeff Cavalier was the one who talked about it. I'm not sure who though. The technical limits. So like if you're training a deadlift, your technical limit might be, say your technical limit is 500 pounds. That's the most weight that you can lift with proper technique and basically like safely.
Right. So like,
but your actual max
kind of thing
might be 550.
Right.
So a lot of times people get caught up in going for these numbers outside their technical limits and their form breaks down instead of training near that technical limit. And then they, are maybe able to push that by doing, like, for deadlift, say it's like you're doing block pulls or you're doing deficit or you're doing some sort of accessory that's helping you to push that technical limit farther. So, like, that's what I'm trying to do right now with my lifts. Right. So I'm in a high volume phase with, like, lighter weight, and I'm trying to push that technical limit out so that when I do get to the heavy weight, it's not something that I'm going to be putting myself in a bad position on.
Right. And for all the boys and girls listening, like, that is a mature response and mature lifter viewpoint. Like, so many people go into the gym with this ego, like lifting with your ego, and in the long run, you're actually like diminishing like what you can actually accomplish long term because you're trying to put up all this weight, but you're doing it with terrible form and you're not hitting your rep scheme for that day. Rather than lifting with like your daily gym max as your percentage, and say you're working with 80% that day on bench or something like that, right? Like, work with what you can actually hit and get the proper technique and the proper form down. And long term, like, who cares what people are looking at you that day? They're not looking at you for one, but like you're going to be putting up a lot more weight. You're going to be seeing a lot better results that way.
And if you build that strength correctly, you're going to be able to protect yourself from injury, and you're going to be able to play the long game more. Like, I know powerlifting's not a long game. It's not like something I'm going to be doing when I'm 80. Like, I can tell you that much. I know that now. So I want to do this the right way and maybe sacrifice a little bit of short-term progress so that I am able to have the longevity and maybe powerlift for like 15 years instead of like 5.
Right.
Yeah.
that's what you have to do on a daily basis, though.
Yeah, and I think that's where personal trainers, honestly, having that around that objective point of view can be a really great asset for anybody in the gym. But to circle back to that personal training, like you mentioned at the beginning that you were NASM certified. Like, for one, tell the listeners what that is, and two, like, how does somebody become a personal trainer?
Okay, so NASM, National Academy of Sports Medicine. So to be a personal trainer, there's several routes you can go. There's a lot of certifications you can get. Because my bachelor's degree was in neuroscience, that's not something that you'd ever be able to like work in a gym with that degree. If you got like a kinesiology degree, that's something you could automatically be a personal trainer. You're certified in like sports fitness, and you have those body mechanic classes. I went the certification route because it was easier than going back for a 4-year bachelor's. So I got the at-home self-study packet. You have like 6 months to study, and then you sign up to take your exam. And it's a very comprehensive exam, very like anatomy based, which is why I actually picked NASM. It's one of like the more higher regarded certifications because you do need to know a lot of anatomy to pass the exam, and you need a lot of anatomy for personal training. That's something that I think is lacking in personal trainers a lot too. Is like, just because you know a good workout does not mean you know why it's good for that client. So knowing the anatomy and knowing like those areas that you're trying to perfect and affect in that client is really, really important. So yeah, I ended up getting my NASM cert, passed my test, and yeah, it's been fun. It actually did not take me that long to study for it. I think I bought it, and then I kind of let it like sit around for a little bit, and then I studied for like a month, and it was good.
I was gonna say, I remember you telling me about it, and no less than 2 weeks later, you're like, yeah, I passed the test.
Yeah, I mean, I was really lucky because my bachelor's, like when I was studying to be a PA, I took anatomy and physiology, and I took like all the classes you would need. So I definitely had a heads up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you're one of the most intelligent, like, overall, like, when it comes to lifting. Nothing else in life, like, you're a dummy outside of that.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to lifting, you're one of the most intelligent, intentional people when it comes to like why you're doing things.
Yeah.
And I think that played a really big role into like being able to take that test within a month and pass it, and then get a job at Equinox, which is kind of like a really lucrative personal training position, and be really successful at it super quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a grind. Like, you have to put in the hours. Like, you have to be there for like 14 to 16 hours like every single day. Like, there was like a point, I just had my first day off this past weekend, and I hadn't had a day off since Memorial Day. So you're there every single day. Because the more that you are there, the more people you meet, and then the better impression you have on the members of the gym, and the more people want to train with you. So yeah, setting a wide net, to catch as many fish as possible. But yeah, thank you for the compliment. I'm definitely not the smartest person. And that's another great thing about working at Equinox. There are so many smart people. Like, I learn something new every single day from every single one of those trainers. Like, going back to the beginning of what you said, everyone has something to share. So, yeah.
I think that's, like, one of the most important things is being somewhere where you are able to, like, you're able to absorb, be a sponge from other people.
I just used that the other day.
Did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how I feel. Yeah.
Because that's exactly how I feel. I started going to Rochester Performance Gym, which is like a powerlifting gym, and going from Oakland to there. Like, Oakland, there's like maybe a handful of people that I feel I could get stuff from. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's just me being stubborn or if that's
you being aware. And it's okay to be aware. That's not cocky. That's not pompous. That is honestly just awareness of like where you're at in your personal fitness experience and journey.
But I would say, like, at RPG, at least half the people I could go up to and ask them something, and I would learn from them almost immediately. And I do that all the time. So going back to your talking about your personal training certification, and like, obviously it was easier for you with your background. Yeah. Do you think that the requirements to become a personal trainer are stringent enough, or do you think that they need to be like beefed up a little bit?
For NASM, yeah, I feel like the test is kind of hard enough to weed out the people who don't know quite enough. There are absolutely some bullshit certifications out there for sure, like action cert, and there's a couple.
Oh, calling them out.
Yeah, I mean, anyone has there's some that are just like you do the test online, like you don't even need to go to a testing center. You just very easily cheat, and that's where like the different gyms kind of come into play. So like, Equinox is not going to hire someone unless they have like a bachelor's in science, they have an NASM cert, or they legitimately know what they're talking about, and it's very, very clear to know from the first session if you know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So, you could definitely get away with being a personal trainer and not knowing what you're talking about, but you're not going to get hired anywhere where you're going to like make an actual difference.
Okay. So, when you're like talking to your clients, mm-hmm. So like what percentage, like how would you break up, like if you were to say, all right, like eating, lifting, or like working out, like drinking water and sleeping, like what would you give those like percentages, like of the whole? Oh, I like asking people this. I like putting people on the spot a little bit.
Oh boy. So. Okay. Well, no. I mean, you cannot train a bad diet. It's cliche for a reason. I say nutrition is huge, especially because like think about how much of the day you're eating, mm-hmm. and like the most annoying thing for me is people don't eat enough. And that's a huge problem I run into, especially with women. So fixing that nutrition aspect and like kind of increasing that basal metabolic rate is one of the first things I focus on. That being said, I'm not a registered dietitian yet. Okay. In the coming years. Fingers crossed.
For the listeners, she just did double finger guns, so look out.
Fingers crossed. So hopefully going to get my master's in that, become a registered dietitian. So, because nutrition's a huge part of it. So I would probably give it like, so now I'm trying to do the math in my head. Because water is part of nutrition.
I split it up.
You split it up.
I split it up.
Okay. For me, and I'm biased because I don't listen to me, but I don't drink a lot of water. It's terrible. You should. I don't. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I perform okay. Don't listen to me.
So let's give us your breakdown, then we'll go into the whole water thing.
I'll do 40% nutrition. I'll do 30% training. I'm at 70%. Okay, yeah. So 30%. And then split the rest evenly between, what do you say, water and rest? Sleep, yeah.
Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah.
I'd say it's pretty fair.
Yeah.
So she passed the Garrett Bondi test.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay.
Good shoot.
A plus or is it lower?
In the
B?
A range.
Okay, good. As long as you're at A, then I'm fine.
So, well, this is where your score might have come down. So what's up with the water thing?
Yeah, you know what? I absolutely should drink more water. That's my worst habit. I can't affect the sleeping thing.
I was gonna say I have two questions for you on this. Yeah. So if you had to take like a guess for us, like just a wild but yet very thoughtful and analytical and precise guess.
Yeah.
How much water would you say you drink in a day's time? And to follow that up, how dare you?
Oh no. Okay. On an average day, oh god, maybe I have like 1 cup of water, and that's like with the water. I know, don't give me the look. It's terrible. It's really terrible, and it's because okay, it's absolutely different when you work in a hospital. When you work in a hospital for 2 years, if anyone like works in healthcare, you know, like you do not get time to sit down and drink. You do not get time to like go to the bathroom. So you kind of get used to like just kind of putting it off. Like, it's like your patient's needs come before your own. So yeah, sometimes you're not drinking water. And that kind of like transitioned into now that, to be fair, I was never great about drinking water, but I can definitely go very long times without it. And also, I hate the feeling of drinking cold water. So if I'm going to drink water, it has to be like lukewarm to very hot water. And no one wants to drink hot water after a workout. Like, how gross does that sound?
Literally the first time, like, she was over at my place, and we were just, like, just chilling, and, well, it sounds really, okay, never mind. The first time, like, I had a party at my house, and Emily was over, I asked her if she wanted anything to drink, and she said no. I asked her if she wanted anything to drink. She said no. And then I was like, are you sure? She's like, well, if I'm being honest, like, I would take, like, a cup of hot water.
I don't know why this is weird.
And I just looked at her.
I think it's super normal.
It's
just water, but hot.
I used to work with a lot of people that drink hot water early in the morning. They said it had some health benefits.
I don't know about the health benefits. I just think it feels better.
Yeah.
I feel like cold water makes me really... You can, like, feel the water, like, sloshing around in your stomach. I hate that feeling. But I feel like I drink... It's because I drink it more slowly, you know? So I'm, like, taking sips as opposed to, like, giant gulps of cold water. And, it just feels better to me.
So do you drink anything then? Like,
a lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee.
Also terrible. But my family drinks a lot of coffee, and I grew up drinking coffee really early. And I just like the taste, so...
My dad tries to tell me that. I'm like, Dad, you need to drink more water. I drink like 6 cups of coffee. That's like mostly water. I'm like... There's
debate about this.
That's not the same.
I'm pretty sure, because coffee is a diuretic, but there is like, because coffee is made with water, there's actually a net gain. Tiny. It's minuscule. It does not replace water, but there's a tiny gain of water. So he's not wrong. I mean
there's water
he's getting
in it,
water.
but like... Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm definitely trying to be better, because you absolutely can notice a difference. Like, I'm not going to be the person that's like, your training is going to be just as effective if you don't drink water. Like, it won't be. You're going to feel like shit. I feel like shit. So, yeah. I should change.
I think this is a great example of, if you go to Emily's Instagram at Emily Cronizer, and look at her Instagram.
Plug right there.
But you can honestly just put her on a pedestal of, like, I kind of put her on a pedestal of, like, the most knowledgeable and, like, best fitnesser that I know. But this goes to show that, like, even someone like Emily or, like, your favorite Instagrammer or your favorite YouTuber or whatever, like, they are just like Garrett and I. They're just like you, the listener. Like, she fucks up and she has room to grow and get better. And I think at every point, no matter where you are in your journey, like, you're going to fuck up. And you're going to have room to grow. So, like, the people on your pedestal are honestly, like, get them off that pedestal and, like, be realistic. Like, you're just like them. Like, you can achieve what they've achieved. Yeah. Kind of thing.
I was honestly thinking about this yesterday. I think the main reason people fail in anything, whether it's relationships, whether it's exercise, whatever, is, like, a lack of, like, commitment or, like, loyalty to what you're trying to do. And people get to a point where they are unopen to change. They just are totally like, nope, this is how I do these things. This is how I've done them. And this is how I'm going to continue doing it. It's like that whole mindset is just like crazy.
Of arrogance and living a life of dualism, which we won't get into. But yeah, what you're saying, like, you can't grow if you live in that section, right? You can't learn. You'll be the person in the room that thinks you know everything. You're going to be the person in the room like, oh, like, I don't need a personal trainer. I've been lifting for 4 years and I look okay. But you're exactly the person. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, slap yourself right now. You can learn, you can grow.
So, what, like, if you're working with a personal training client, like, what do you think is the most important thing for them, like, so that they're retained and, like, they keep wanting to progress? Like, is it, like, like, because, I mean, some people, like, they really have to see results or they get discouraged quickly. Like, other people, it just kind of becomes habit. Like, what do you think is the most important thing?
Yeah, so it's actually a very fine balance, and that's something that I'm, like, to this day still working on, because you'll have, like, 2 types of trainers. You have ones that, like, stick to the program, like, they're program Nazis, and our programs really only involve, like, a certain amount of movement. So you'll have, like, a hip hinge, you'll have, like, a horizontal pull, like some kind of push movement, an anti-rotational movement. So we kind of vary between those. And there's not a ton of variety that you can do with that, and a lot of it is repetitive. And then you'll have the other kind of trainer who's very artistic, and their programs are super fun. And, like, clients have a ton of fun doing them, and, like, they're very active, running all over the place, and it looks really great. But if you look at the clients that repurchase and the clients that keep coming back, it's the ones who are doing the same movements over and over, because those are the clients that are seeing results. So when you do the in-bodies, those are the people who are seeing their body fat percentage drop. Those are the people who are seeing their skeletal muscle mass kind of increase. And that's something where I learned, because I'm very much a person who likes running around the gym and doing a bunch of stuff and like making it super fun. And like it needs to be fun for the client, but at the end of the day, like changing their life and changing their body composition is what's going to bring them back. So yeah, we have like, I have 2 trainers in mind that I'm thinking of, and like one has excellent ratios. Like she has just a couple clients who are loyal as fuck. They will never ever leave her. They love coming to the gym now because like they feel better about themselves. It's not just about being fun, it's about changing their lives. So that's what keeps them coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can dig that. And I know we're getting long here with the podcast, but so I only have like 1 or 2 more questions I have for you. Garrett probably has 1 or 2 more left too. But one segment that I really want to like get across while you're here is a kind of like a thing for the girls, as I like to say, because if anyone follows me on Instagram, they know who Emily is, because you're the shredded girl that's in my stories, and you're the only reason why people DM me. Like, I feel really terrible about myself. Like that's why if I'm working out with you, you're going to be on my Instagram, because then I actually feel like I'm important in life.
That's such a fucking lie, by the way. I've seen his DMs, so
that's another segment for the girls later. But with that, every time that someone sees you, I get questions like, how does she get shredded like that? How does she get that booty? Like, what does it take to become like physically like look like what you look like?
Okay, well, I'm gonna answer that with, you shouldn't want to look like me. You should want to look like the best version of yourself, because that's like the
mic drop right there.
That's the shittiest thing, is like you look at, like you see all these girls on Instagram like, oh my god, I want to look like her, but everyone has like different genetics. So like my genetics, I carry like most of my weight in my legs, and I also figure skated for like 12 years. So I had a leg up. Like I
literally.
Yeah, I had a leg up in the leg muscle. Like, I already had a good base. Like, someone saying, like, oh, wow, I want legs like hers, well, then you would have to have my genes, and you'd also have to figure skate for 12 years. Like, there's definitely, like, exercises you can do, like, to build a booty, like, doing a hip thrust, doing deficit deadlifts, like, doing things like that, progressive overload, progressing in a program, getting a personal trainer, finger guns again. Absolutely do that. As far as, like, the shreddy thing, again, like, you have to think, like, I've been training for like 7-8 years now. So if you're like just starting out and you're like, damn, I want to look like that, it goes back to that mindset of like, things don't just happen overnight. You see people come in an eagle if they want to lift a ton of weight really fast, but like I talked about it. I started off like shitty as hell. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, and I didn't progress for a super long time. So it took me like 7 years of learning to get here. 7 years of like eating really restricted and then like binging out all the time, and like now years later finding a balance. And I definitely owe it all to like eating like 80-20 and like having a lifestyle. Like
eating 80-20, what is that?
Eating 80-20 is like, thank you for making me explain that, because I assume everyone knows what I'm talking about. So eating clean 80% of the time and then living your life 20% of the time. So I used to count macros like very strictly, especially when I bulked. I was very careful about how much protein I was eating and how many carbs I was eating, and it was like just a little too stressful for me. Now I can kind of like judge like based on the day, like, oh yeah, that meal had a lot of fat, so maybe
intuitive
like
eating, right?
Yeah, kind of intuitive eating, and like allowing myself to have a little bit, and that kind of lets me. So now like instead of like binging out on 12 cookies, I can eat 1 cookie, and I'm like, it's okay, because tomorrow if I want a cookie, I can have another cookie. It's gonna be okay. Like you never. Sometimes when you're dieting, you're like, I never know when my next cheat meal is gonna come, so you binge out like crazy on that one. Noah, looking at you. Sometimes during your cut.
Okay, once.
Is that still going on?
Okay, maybe twice. No,
Thank God.
3 weeks ago.
Thank God.
It seemed like it was on forever.
It was a 13-week cut, ended up being, because of the binge thing. I kind of like started over because I binged like 1 weekend.
Yeah, see, so it took longer because you weren't living your lifestyle.
But I also went really aggressive because it was only a 12-week and not like a 16-week. Yeah. So just going to be smarter about it next time.
Good.
3 months of restricted eating. That sounds terrible.
It's not restricted eating. It's intentional eating, buddy.
Intentionally, yeah. There you go.
But no, I'm a big proponent. Like during my whole cut, almost every single day, like I had a Skinny Cow ice cream sandwich. and I was seeing incredible results. Like I was still eating something that I really enjoyed and it was something I look forward to. But guess what? It fit into my macros. So all you listeners out there,
I have a question about that.
All you listeners out there that are like, no, it's not about calories in, calories out. Like, kick rocks, you dumb nerds.
Wait, I was about to ask, why do you think it's calories in, calories out?
Okay, surface level, I will say it's calories in, calories out.
Okay.
Like, it gets deeper than that. It's not just calories in, calories out. Like, it's intentional calories and the kind of calories you're eating, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people say, like I like carbs more than I do fats. Okay. So, usually during cut, my fats are pretty substantially low. And so, during a cut, like, I can't afford to eat an avocado. It just takes up too much fat within my diet. Even though people are going to say...
as fuck.
Even though people would... Like, avocados and peanut butter are the two things I miss the most during a cut because they both are too high in fat. The things I really enjoy, and everyone was like, oh my god, they're good fats, though. You can eat them. Okay, I get it. Like, they're good fats, but at the same time, I only have a certain threshold of fats I can eat. I'm still getting good fats elsewhere. It's just like, I'm just limiting myself from getting these fats for this period of time. So that I can have an ice cream sandwich later that night, to be honest with you. But what was your...
Oh, no, so it's so hard for me to, like, comment on diet because, like, just with everything in fitness, it's like whatever you're going to stick to is what I'm going to say you should do. So if you're, like, a die-hard, like, I need to count my macros and I'm going to stick to that, awesome. That is great. If you can do that, that's great. If you are like, I fucking hate carbs, I need to do keto, like, I just really enjoy eating fats, like, as much as I don't believe in the keto diet, if that's what works for them and that's what they like to do, to eat a healthy diet, then by all means, go for it. But the calories in, calories out kind of, like, comes down to, like, is your body... Because some people are like, oh, yeah, I could eat, like, 1,500 calories of cake, and, like, I'm only eating 1,500 calories.
Oh, yeah,
but, like, your body is not responding efficiently to that 1,500 calories.
The most important aspects, I would say the 3 pillars, this is something that I know Jeff Nippard said in the past, but, like, the 3 main pillars are you have to have, like, your protein thresholds, like, high during a cut, especially. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're not eating enough protein... The energy you're burning, the calories you're cutting, you're going to be skinny fat. Like your muscle is going to deteriorate over that period of time rather than the body fat. So my main goal is to stay at least at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight.
Oh, it's per kilogram.
No, it's gram.
It's per, not pound of body weight, but it's per kilogram of body weight.
I've usually heard it per pound.
It's in between.
A lot of people say okay, well, let's debate for another time, I guess.
Let's debate it for another time. Okay. But so, like, during my cut, like, even though towards the end of it, I was only eating, like 2,050 calories at the last couple, like, 3 weeks, my protein was still at 200 grams a day, which means when I took the calories away, it was coming away from carbs at that point. But, like, you have to have your protein up, you have to be lifting heavy, and you have to be in a caloric deficit. Those 3 things, like, if you don't have those 3 things in your cut, like, you're not going to see the results you want to see. You're going to feel like shit. And it's not just about, oh, I'm going to eat 2,000 calories of Pop-Tarts and, like, call it good. Like, no, that's not realistic, and that is not what it means, calorie in, calorie out. It means, like, macro calorie in, macro calorie out.
Cool. I mean, it's like, if you think of, like, I work as an engineer at automotive. It's like a car. You put crappy fuel in the car. You're not going to get as good fuel economy. The car's still going to run, you know. That's your, you know. You're eating a bunch of garbage. You're not going to run very efficiently. You're going to feel like garbage. You're going to need to eat more because you're hungry again or whatever. And you're going to, you know, have that huge binge meal, or you're going to do something that you really didn't need to do.
Yeah, totally. So what I got from that conversation, for the girls out there, if you got anything out of that, go buy some ice skates and plan the next 12 years of your life around figure skating.
Just take it slow. That's my advice. Is like getting shredded is like a real slow roll. If you want to make it a lifestyle, like doing like a 3-month cut is so aggressive. And like you've been lifting for a while and dieting for a while, so you can like kind of handle that mental stress. But if you're trying to like lose weight and cut calories, you really have to be nice to yourself. Like, do you think it's realistic to cut your calories by like 500 and think that you're going to stick to that every single day? I'm looking at you, Noah, because that's what you did. Like 150. Like, cut out like a small thing. And maybe it's like you cut out 2 snacks a week. Okay? And then you pass that week and you're like, yes, I did not eat those 2 snacks like throughout the week. I'm really proud of myself. And you feel good going to next week. So next week, okay, I'm going to cut out 3 snacks on 3 different days. Achieved that goal? Yes, that was easy. It gets easier and easier. This should be like a long process,
right?
To make it a lifestyle.
It should be an accessible process too for that individual. Right. So for me, my cut, even though I went too aggressive to it, it was accessible to me to a certain point. Like I had to readjust and plan because of failing too quickly. But that wasn't accessible to me a year ago. That wasn't accessible to me 6 months ago. It took instead of eating out every night and eating a pizza 2 times a week, like where I was a year and a half, 2 years ago, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna start cooking at home more. That doesn't mean I don't even care what I'm cooking. It's simply I'm gonna cook at home to get that routine down. And once that was a normalized behavior, it wasn't so foreign anymore. Okay, now what am I cooking? Like I'm no longer going to do frozen food, so I can't make a frozen pizza every night. Cool. Once that becomes normalized, it was small steps of this behavior, normalizing that behavior created the access to normalizing a different behavior, which has led down the road for me that aggressive cut that I did.
Yeah.
And it's just small changes. Do something that you can sustain, because if you're not going to sustain it, it's not going to be worthwhile to do it. You're just going to end up treading water and not seeing results.
Yeah. You'll feel worse after. I'm sure Noah can relate to this. Once you kind of are defeated and you kind of binge after your cut, you just feel so much worse. Because you feel oh, I failed. That feeling of failure, because you set yourself an unobtainable goal. Whereas it's better just to make those slow changes and feel those tiny moments of success.
Right. It's also this was something that it took a while for me to learn. But hang on,
I'm sorry, my laptop sounds like a jet engine, so I'm gonna set it far away from the microphone.
Anyway, for me, it was a long process of really figuring out being able to be not a purist with my approach when it comes to fitness.
Perfect.
And so for that, it's when I binged at the 1 week into the cut that I'd had. Yeah, it really sucked, and I was really hard on myself, but it was talking to people like Garrett and people that came on the podcast that very next day and had to talk about it instantly. They were ashamed with it for me, but actually at the end of the day, I've really learned through that mistake it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to not be perfect.
Oh yeah.
It's okay to mess up, because guess what? We can't go back and change what we've done in the past. What we can do is dictate what we're going to do today and how we're going to change the future from where we are. That's the only thing we have control over. So why stress over it?
You're so motivational.
Oh, thank you.
I feel like I was not very supportive when you were on the podcast. I think I called you stupid for cutting.
I'm
I
sure
remember
you did.
that.
Yeah.
But I
get shade all the time, but it's okay. I got thick skin.
Well, it's because I saw you at the gym. I said, "There's no need for that man to cut. He's in great shape already."
Oh, that's a lie, but thank you.
Oh my God! Stop. You're in great shape.
I am. Yeah. But in my point of view, I'm in great shape. This is where Christian Guzman's phrase, proud but never satisfied, really hits home. Is I'm proud of where I'm at. I've seen substantial growth and substantial, I would say, the cutting, becoming a smaller human being, because I'm not a fat fuck anymore.
Wow.
But I'm not satisfied. I still have goals. I don't set a goal, and once I hit that goal, I find myself with nothing to do. It's kind of that line of goal, the access to that goal changes as I approach closer to that set goal. So once that goal is hit, there's already a goal down the road set. So it's a continual growth towards improvement.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. At work, we did a activity. It was a assessment of your strengths, basically, what kind of personality traits you have.
Yeah.
And the ones that came up for me, one of them was focus. And they passed around these cards, and you looked at the card and it said a little definition of what it means. It said what it looks like when it works, and then it also said what it looks like when it doesn't work. So for me, a lot of times I get caught up in I'm so I'll have goals and I'll meet those goals, but I don't take a step back and say, wow, that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I finally made that goal. I'm just where's the next one?
Right.
And I think I kind of get lost in it sometimes, where I'm not enjoying the process and the small stuff. So that's something I need to work on. But it's just kind of interesting, you brought that up. The goals are, obviously they progress, unless you just squat 225 and then you just never lift heavy again.
That's what I'm afraid with my bench. Once I hit 315, I'm okay, I don't ever have to bench again, but I don't I don't want that to be true.
I had other goals though. I hit my goal.
The goal shifted. The focus shifted.
Yeah. I was just teasing. But no, dude, benching 315, almost depressing. The next milestone's 365.
That's what I literally was saying the other day. I'm like, I really feel like I did 265 5x5 the other day, and I'm like, okay, this much weight, this rep scheme, like, if I put this in the calculator online, like, that's right at 315 of what I should hit. And the last time I tried was with you. You spotted me last time, and it was like 290.
Yeah. I remember deadlifting that off your chest.
Yeah. Like it crushed me. Like, I'm surprised I still have a sternum. But now my strength has substantially gone up because of progressive overload. Finger guns back at Emily.
Hell yeah.
But like, I was like, wait, if I try this and I hit this, what then? Honestly, why am I coming back here? There's just like one moment of that, but it's not actually true.
So that's why I would go back to like what is your why? Like, what is your ultimate why of lifting? Because if you go back to that all the time, and I always encourage people to go back like every once in a while and think like, why? Especially in times you're like, why am I here? Why did I start this in the first place? Like, why did I start lifting? Why did I make a commitment to my health, to my fitness? And you'll end up reaching or finding new goals for yourself.
Right. Speaking of your why, what's your why with personal training? Like, this is not a shade at all. Do you see yourself being career personal trainer until you retire someday, or do you see that going somewhere differently?
I don't think it's always going to be my full-time job. I think it's a very hard job. It's a lot of it is sales. So like you live kind of like week to week, like where are my clients, where are my numbers at? It is very stressful, and I see a lot of like older trainers. Like the reason I can do so well right now is, you know, I'm 24. I'm not going to burn out, you know, like I'm working 14, 16 hours a day every single day. You can't do that when you have like a family or you have kids. You just can't do that. I do think it was always something I'm going to do on the side. I started, like, I'm not going to go into my why, but I started lifting for like a very good reason. Like I wanted to feel strong both physically and emotionally, and I saw the huge difference it made in my life. Like I daily feel like powerful when I finish a good workout, and I see that in my clients when they hug me at the end of session. They're smiling, like in slight pain, but every single session they think, God, I feel so good. Like you push me past where I thought I could go, and look at what I achieved. And that's something that you see in life, like that mental barrier. Like once you break past that, not just in lifting, but in a whole bunch, in everything you do in your life, in your career, in your relationship, like you push past that mental barrier and you achieve so much more than you thought you could. I love that feeling. So yeah, I'm always gonna do it.
She is lighting up right now.
I know.
She literally has rosy cheeks and a smile, like a grin ear to ear. She's passionate.
I think it's so important to follow your passions. Like I can't even explain how much I love this job and how much I love what I do. And like leaving Beaumont and leaving the healthcare game was super scary. But I mean, if anyone's listening out there and they're like thinking about following their passions, just like changing, just do it. Like it's terrifying, but just do it. You're gonna be so much happier. Like it's so much better. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
I got a funny story for you, Noah.
Let's hear it.
I had never benched 315. I had been buried by it like probably 3 or 4 times, like for trying it. And one day, warming up, I was there with Nick Baker. It was like the only time I lifted with him, like that whole year.
Small man Nick Baker.
And so we're warming up, and Nick doesn't even start warming up until there's 2 plates on each side, just because that's just like how he is. So we're warming up. So we finally put 315 on. There's just like a bunch of like the whole crew was there at that time. Like just guys like around. I'm all hyped up. 315 literally flies up. So I took it for 2 the first time I ever benched it. So it is. I mean, it's such a mental thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also obviously a physical thing, but. When that time...
No, you heard it here first from Garrett Bondi. No matter where you're at in your training, you can lift 315. If you believe you can lift 315.
Well, the funny thing is okay, if I could do it for 2, how long had I been able to do it for 1?
Right.
Where I just
had mental barriers.
Or I had not executed.
This is a big environment thing too. Honestly, like I think we've touched on this before in the past a little bit. Like, OU, good gym, fine gym. I would say no cons about the gym, but like. once you hit a certain threshold that you were kind of talking about earlier, like not to be a dickhead or anything like that to other people, but like you're not on my level, like kind of thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Garrett's saying that because honestly, nobody else in that gym is lifting the weight Garrett's lifting. No one else is challenging and pushing Garrett where he's absorbing like a sponge at that point. So when he went to RPG, that was honestly the best thing Garrett could ever do. Like Evan, Austin, and I have all talked about that behind his back of like, we are so proud of him for making that jump because his lifts literally flew up after that. Later on in a different segment, we'll talk about his meet. But like the environment of like those guys around you and just like hyping you up and then not be able to get it for 4 times and then be able to like do it for 2 as it flies. Like I think that just preaches and speaks and is a testament to like surround yourself by positive but like individuals, but an environment that's going to like push you to become better.
Right. And I think Oakland is a great place if you're trying to find your way at a gym. Mm-hmm. They have everything. Like, well, besides some of the stuff you guys have Equinox, but
like
we don't even know. I don't even know what that equipment is.
Vipers.
So
yeah, no eucalyptus towels to wipe down after
We
you're
have a
sweating.
saltwater pool too, so
Yeah, I'm a little salty about that.
But
I need to check that out next week.
Great place for you to like get a feel for like what you want to do. But it's also a social event going there, especially with Noah.
That's why his lifts take so long. He's just talking to people. You'd be in and out in like an hour and 15 if you didn't talk.
But like,
I've tried. It just doesn't happen. I can't. I was wearing a hoodie the other day, headphones on, hat on. People still just like,
you need this resting bitch.
Hey, yo, boy, what are you doing?
yeah, you just gotta look mean.
Yeah.
Like I'm like a nice guy at the gym, especially, but I look mean.
Yeah, I was intimidated by you forever. Like it took a long time to introduce myself just to you.
It's so weird.
He always wore these
How
like
does
super
he
tight
get those
stringers,
lifts?
and I was like, it's June and July. Like, why are you so pasty and wearing that stringer right now? That was originally like why I was staring at you.
Well, then he thought he knew who I was too, which was like
he looks exactly like a guy I went to basic training with who was from Michigan.
Oh, no way.
And so it's 5 years removed. I was like scratching my head. I was like, is this that fucking guy? What the heck? Like it was in such a small world.
And
so
for
I went
me,
up to him and asked him.
For me, it was like this kid wearing the fanny pack. He's staring at me. What in the world is going on?
You don't wear the fanny pack. You just keep the
around
fanny
the
pack
fanny
around
pack.
because OU doesn't let you have bags. So like you gotta keep the chalk, the wraps, the extra headphones, all that good jazz up in there.
I was staring at Noah in the gym the first time I saw him because I thought I knew him.
Well, you kind of did, but then she actually fell on the Stairmaster,
I did
and that's how
fall
we
on the
first
Stairmaster.
met.
Major key, don't do stair sprints on a Stairmaster.
She was going at
while
level,
not holding on.
She was actually going at level 14 for a good 30 minutes, 14? And then fell.
What, 20? You serious?
Definitely try going
15.
on the Stairmaster without holding on though.
Yeah,
it was 1 minute sprints, and I was on my last of 20, so it was. I feel like it was justified that I fell off.
I'm not saying you have to sprint, but definitely do the Stairmaster without holding on.
Yeah,
that's something Rachel told me that I did not listen to when she originally said it, but then I tried, and it was much harder.
I used to always hold on until I got around Kirsty and Emily, and then they would look at me like, "Hey, bitch boy, get your hands off the."
Yeah, that's very pathetic.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, and then it really.
Now I feel bad saying that. If anyone's listening, you're holding on, you're fine. You're living your best life. Just
challenge yourself.
Progressive overload.
Yeah.
Tried no handles for a while.
Yeah. When I first stepped on, if I didn't have handles, like I would have been sucking after 3 minutes, quite honestly. So it took a good 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months of holding on until I was able, like, it's like training wheels.
Yeah.
I let those training wheels off, and guess what? I was flying down the street.
Wow. Inspirational.
Wow.
Doing wheelies and all.
Cute.
So, do you have any advice? Any final thoughts?
For someone just beginning, be nice to yourself. Take it slow. Ask for any advice from a professional. Don't just look at people on Instagram, but be that person that's a sponge in the gym. If I had started out asking people, asking their advice and getting their opinions, I wouldn't have spent 2 years running and eating salads and being miserable. No hate to people who run. I mean, it's terrible, but no hate to those people. Yeah, take it slow, ask for advice, be open to a lot of things. The thing I see the most is people don't want to work out because they haven't found the thing that motivates them to get there. So running's not my thing, but weightlifting is absolutely my thing, and it makes me look forward to going to the gym and trying a hard new workout. So try everything.
I love that. If you guys haven't yet, stop what you're doing, go to Instagram, Go to your search bar, hit that app button, Emily, Cronizer.
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 You haven't said it right.
Cronizer.
Oh, I'm messing the O up.
Yeah.
I say O is weird. Like people say I say Taco Bell weird, and I'm just like, leave me alone, all right? I'm just trying to live.
You said novice weird earlier.
Tomato, all right? That's what I said.
Noticed that.
Tomato. Anyway, go follow her. Hit her up. She has some good content up on there.
I just posted a workout on my Instagram story. Every minute on the minute burpees. Super fun.
Wow. Maybe,
don't do it.
Yeah, maybe don't do that unless you have like a trash can
really
near.
It was 140 burpees in total in like 13 minutes.
Wow. Woo! That's disgusting.
That's insanity.
Yeah. But thank you for coming on. Honestly,
thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you.
Keep crushing life. Keep posting your great content on Instagram.
And I'm gonna have so many followers, so I have to.
Yeah, all of them. Because you got plugged at least 17 times tonight. Maybe we'll do a burpee for every time you got plugged.
You guys, though. I already did my burpees for the day. I would love to see Noah do a burpee. I think that would be really amazing.
Yeah, I was in the military. Like, I had to do burpees, like, every point of every day.
You literally broke your spine with it. I mean...
Actually, though, like, that was part of my PT, physical therapy, when they misdiagnosed me, was like, do some burpees. And I was like, okay, how about I break my back some more? And that's what happened.
Wow.
Smart.
And then I spent 6 months in a bed. So that was real cool. Thanks, USA! But yes, Emily, thank you. We're going to wrap it up here. Go follow her. Go give her a like. And DM her if you're interested in personal training.
Yes.
Honestly, I could not recommend a better personal trainer other than Rachel as well, Garrett's fiance.
Better play nice.
Yeah, we got to have an equal playing field over here. But if you like really, 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 really bougie gyms, but yet you can get a great lift in and a great pump, check out Equinox.
Highly recommend it.
Emily will set you up.
I will.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right, boys and girls. Until next week, we out.